Hello and welcome to another episode here on my channel. My name is ChaosMole, and today I want to ask the question, can Lost Ark be dangerous to New World? And it's a genuine question. I don't know the answer on that. I cannot look into the future and determine how this will play out, but Lost Ark is on its way. And I know some people will immediately say, no, no, Mo, come on, those games are not even similar, they're completely different. And to a certain degree, that's true, but to another degree, that's also not true. Lost Ark is not an action RPG, as some people believe, or as you might believe when you are playing the game for the first 2 to 3 hours. The reality is, Lost Ark is a true, full-blown MMO. It's an MMORPG with thousands of people on the server, with raids, with dungeons, with open world PvP, with arena PvP, castle defenses where you have multiple guilds fighting against each other. It is a full-blown MMO with thousands of players without a lot of instances, well, besides of the dungeons, of course, but everything else is open world and people can see each other. There are open world boss fights, open world events, and this is a full-blown MMO. So you could say that they are definitely comparable. Do they play different? Oh, absolutely. They absolutely play different. The biggest difference, and this is why a lot of people think that this is an action RPG, is the top-down view and the Diablo-esque action RPG combat. But the reality is there's so much more to this game. And it's kind of interesting, It is fascinating to me because my friends, they are what you would say RPG fans. They love RPGs. They are not necessarily the biggest fans of, well, this. An Asian MMO. It's very colorful, big weapons, super big armor, and it's sometimes a bit too much. It's this Asian touch. Most of the people I know, and most people sometimes on the internet, were not necessarily a big fan of that. Now, of course, that doesn't hold back those games. I mean, look at Final Fantasy XIV and how many people are playing that. But I would say Final Fantasy XIV is definitely one of those games which is a little bit more docile when it comes to the Asian touch. And this one is just in your face, right? Anime style. And as I said, normally people I know and friends of mine are very quickly to say, nah, this is too much. Sorry, man, this is not something I would play. And they enjoy this game. They've tested it and they're like, dude, I cannot wait for this game. So this doesn't seem to be too problematic for a lot of people and might just be Western enough so that people are not getting annoyed by all the flashy lights and the big weapons. But I think one of the biggest problems, and why I'm asking this question right now, is New World is in a kind of sorry state right now. If you have completely missed the last few days or even last few weeks when it comes to New World is a buggy mess. There are tons of exploits, and some of them are very severe. It did go so far that Amazon Game Studios had to deactivate every conceivable way of you moving money around in the game because people could just dupe that money. There was a duping bug in the game, and people used that to make millions and millions of gold in minutes. And it got so bad, and it started to affect the economy, that Amazon Game Studios had to say, okay, you know what? Deactivate all the ways how you could dupe money, and we would try to find a fix. Now, of course, that also meant they completely deactivated the economy for days. Now you might think, okay, well, at least they had a quick solution to this, right? Yeah, no. People also were able to dupe the money even without all of this, because they have completely forgotten, or didn't thought that was possible, to deactivate the way how you can upgrade your towns. So if you want to upgrade your town in New World, you have to put down the resources and of course a lot of money, but they found basically that the duping bug, by disconnecting from the game and all that, is also working on the town's management. And what would happen is you would still keep the money in your own pocket, but also the money would get transferred to your guild stash. So you would have the money in your own pockets and the same amount of money in your guild stash, and you could just repeat that over and over and over and create like millions of money. And this is not the only problem. There were tons of issues in the last few weeks where the game was just, well, kind of broken, where the economy got affected. Like last week we had a bug, and I think it's still going on. I don't know if they fixed it at this point, but there was a bug where when you would log out and you would sell something in the meantime in the auction house in the game, you wouldn't get the money. Which in a game which lives and breathes through the auction house, that is not a good thing. I was like, how did this happen? Like, you just released a hotfix with some small changes and you broke the auction house. How is that a thing? And this is not even talking about like all the gameplay bugs we have in PvP, that you have infinite healing, you can do tons of damage with 0 cooldowns, and so on and so forth. Like, there is still so much right now in this game which is broken, that this is actually affecting the player base. And if you don't believe me, you just have to take a look at Steam right now. Like, if you're going into Steam and you're opening the Steam stats, like right here, you see that New World is still up there. Cool. But this was at 800,000. That was the number New World had. They had over 800,000 players. And you might say, Mo, come on, man. It's a month after release. This is normal for a game to lose players. No, it isn't. Not for an MMO. For an MMO, the first month is just the beginning. An MMO is normally growing. That's what an MMO does. World of Warcraft has been doing this. Final Fantasy has been doing this now for 7 years, which is kind of crazy. But even like World of Warcraft has been growing for years and years before they slowly started to decline. Like, MMOs are not meant to lose 50% and more of their player base over a month. Like, this is even more. This is like 70% of their player base they lost. And, well, I can tell you, I have deinstalled the game. I'm not playing the game anymore. Especially for me, who's somebody who doesn't really care too much for leveling, because I know there is not really anything going on right now at max level. I was playing the market. I was doing a lot of crafting, and I was focusing solely on crafting and the auction house. And those things are basically not usable right now. Like, the problem New World has right now is that the game is unraveling super quickly. Whenever you are just going off the beaten path a little bit in this game, you have a pretty high chance that you are falling through a black hole. I was like, wait, where's that coming from? Like, you know, that beaten path looks beautiful and they put a lot of work into it. But the moment you're just stepping off that beaten path, you see this world just falling apart. And that's not good. Like, there is actually a metaphor I'm using for New World to understand what's going on. Like, think about an area where you have like water, right? There's a water surface, there's like a little ocean part or sea part, right? and everything looks like completely beautiful. You have like some houses around there, you have some mobs you can find, you have some resources you can find, and it looks absolutely stunning and pretty. And you are like, yeah, man, the devs really put some work in here. Like, they really figured that out. And then you're doing the grave mistake of walking into the water, and you walk and walk and walk, and you are starting to walk underwater. There is no swimming in this game. Like, normally there are two things happening in video games when it comes to water. Your character will start to swim and might even be able to dive around if you're lucky. Or, what is also happening quite often, is that your character is going knee deep into the water and is like, sorry pal, we didn't really implement any swimming animation, this is how far you can go. And that's it, right? But New World is just, yeah, you are walking on the ground underneath the water. It's like, why? This looks so dumb, so cheap, so lazy. And I think New World has that a lot. This, on first glance, on the surface, New World is an amazing game. And it just looks right. But the moment you were digging a little bit deeper, you see all the filth underneath it. And don't get me wrong, this happens in other games too, but in New World it happens a little bit too quickly. Like, as I said, you literally just have to walk into the water to see this game unravel, right? And this is one of the things where I say that Lost Ark has one huge advantage to New World. Lost Ark is technically not releasing when it comes out here in the West. It has been out for 3 years at this point. 3 years. And that is a huge, huge advantage in comparison to New World, which is just a month old. But the thing is, yes, you might point that out, but it doesn't really matter. For the people, they don't care. They will not like wait the 2 games to be like, oh, this game has been out for 3 years, this game has been out for 1 month. Ah, yeah, you were right. I should definitely give the 1 month game a bit more chances here. No, people will take a look at both games and they will be like, okay, we have this broken mess with tons of bugs, performance issues, and not a lot of content against this balanced game, which looks amazing, runs fantastic, barely has any bugs left, and 3 years of huge content patches. You see, on the paper at least, New World doesn't feel like has a chance against that game. And I really wonder if New World could actually, well, not die, but lose even more players to Lost Ark, because there's so much to do, it's bug-free, and it is an MMO. It might take a little bit till people finally realize that, because as I said, at first glance, you might think that, oh yeah, this is an action RPG, right? And that might change. But I really wonder what happens when Lost Ark is coming out. And keep in mind, Lost Ark is also published by Amazon, but they are not developing that game. So chances for them to screw this up, not very high. But right now, when you're looking at New World, it's rough. Like, every time they are fixing something, they are breaking something somewhere else. And in a perfect and ideal world, those games would just coexist, right? Because they are relatively different. Totally. I don't deny that fact. I've played both games quite a bit. But we're not living in an ideal world. People have only that much time in their life and that much money to spend. So if they have to make a decision, like which of the two MMOs they want to play, and there's an MMO which just has more content, is bug-free, runs better, and so on and so forth, against that broken piece of software right now, then I would make the decision to say, okay, what do I enjoy more? What is more fun for me? And as I said, like, Lost Ark has a chance to steal even more players from New World. I hope it doesn't happen, because that would be really unfortunate when at some point they would just say, yeah, you know what, I think we are done with New World, like nobody is playing this anymore, let's move on. That would absolutely suck. I never hope that happens, but I've seen it too often in the video game industry. And especially Amazon, when they see there's a product which makes more money than the other product, wouldn't be the first time they move on and focus on the things which makes them money. So I would say yes, there is a chance that Lost Ark can actually be some tough competition to New World if New World is not managing to fix their issues till the release of the game. When Lost Ark is releasing, we do not know, but chances are pretty high that between January and March that game will come out. Until then, New World has to fix their issue. It's as simple as that. But we will see. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments. I'm actually kind of curious to see what other people are thinking about this, or if I'm just crazy, you know. With that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. If you didn't like this video, well, the dislike button is right next to it. And also, if you're new to the channel, you want to see more gaming news, more Lost Ark content, tips and tricks, reaction videos, opinion videos, then you came to the right place, and I would appreciate if you leave a subscription. If you do so, please don't forget to click on the bell icon, because if you don't click that bell icon, you will never get informed ever again that I uploaded another video. And then is the question, why did you subscribe to me? I know it's a weird YouTube thing. I know. I don't like it myself, but that's unfortunately how we roll. So, with that said, thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you next time. Stay safe. Bye-bye.